Hi, everyone. Welcome to our new Power Burst. This is Vicky Essebag and Tara Gretton. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Vicky. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And Tara and I have been talking about the wonders of the environment and the heat waves that are happening across the globe. And here in the Ontario region of Canada, we're experiencing forest fires, and there's this weird yellow hue outside, and of course the air quality is really poor. But nevertheless, Tara and I are staying focused on appreciating the power of solution focused communication in our conversations with young people, with adults, with schools, and at home, and in general. And so we have a new question for you today. And the question is, when we're experiencing a challenge, how do we encourage ourselves to focus on what is going well?
Yeah, I just love this question and love the sort of conversation that's led to this power burst. As always, I love having conversations with you, Vicky. And I I kind of think I think as solution focused practitioners or solution focused enthusiasts, I think sometimes we I don't want to make lots of assumptions, but the language of focusing on what's working or what's better, or the assumption that we have existing ways of coping, that's what we're used to, isn't it? It's very normal for us to think in that way and to invite other people to think in that way. But off the back of a conversation with a young person actually today, I was kind of thinking, actually, that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. And I know, Vicky, you were sort of talking about sort of teaching staff and how might they invite themselves to notice what they've done well. We can invite this language and way of thinking into people's lives, but actually, how do they do it, and where do they start in doing it? And we were talking, weren't we, about the focus on the small, on the tiny, tiny, tiny things, just to focus on, to allow yourself to just focus on a small thing that might have just gone a little bit better than you thought. If teachers are reflecting on the school year, if they were to notice just a tiny, tiny, tiny handful of things, a small little list of the things that went better than they thought. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and it really, if we can help people to reflect on their experiences in that way, then they inevitably think of things that went well, and they experience an immediate sense of relief.
Mm.
There's a great relief to even noticing a very small piece of energy that we brought to a space, or that we were able to bring to a lesson, or that we were able to bring to our day. It shifts everything. It almost unsticks us
Mm.
from being in a bit of a rut where we think that, things just haven't gone well. And what I will often hear teachers say is, well, I hope I don't get a class like that again next year. Right? I hope that this doesn't happen again next year. I hope that doesn't happen again next year. But really, there are a lot of good things that happened
Mm.
last year, and even in the midst of some of the challenges. So, to help people realize that we can shift our mindset, even just in very, very small ways, to think differently, is very empowering, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as you were talking though, I was thinking, what difference would it make if you just started to imagine doing that, even just the idea of it?
Yes.
About, wow, if I started to look back at the past year and to think, and to invite myself to notice what went well, no matter how small. I wonder what difference that might make to my summer holidays. I wonder what difference it might make to when I come back. For the new academic year. So, even if starting to actually think of something feels too big or too much, then actually just imagining the difference it would make if you were to think that way, could be a first teeny weeny step.
Yes. Yes. And to think about, how did you manage and cope through some of those challenges and some of those difficulties? And the idea that we have personal resources that help us manage through extreme circumstances, right? When you're faced with, for example, a class that just will not commit to the lesson, for example, and there's a lot of talking out and there's a lot of essentially hijacking of the lesson, the teacher is in a place to be forced to manage the situation, right? I mean, a teacher can just, throw in the towel and walk out the door and say, "Hey, I'm not gonna deal with this." But really, at the end of the day, what teachers really do become very good at is managing
Yeah,
those challenging situations. So, what are those little things that they're doing to manage, even if things didn't go well?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So helpful. Oh, well, I hope, or we hope, that this little power burst, this small conversation might make a difference to people, not only teaching staff, but to everybody else as well. And yeah, wishing everybody well in the heat. And as always, Vicky, and it's a joy to talk to you.
Likewise, Tara, thank you. Thanks to all our listeners.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay.